Hey guys, I have just a brief little message that I want to share, actually just with you as the pastors here in Hawaii. Look, it's just a little something just from my heart to your heart. So please don't go posting this on social media. This is just strictly for you, just from my heart, from my home to yours. But it's just actually just two little passages, two little vignettes that I've been reflecting on here recently as I've been journeying through Scripture. So here just recently, not too long ago, I read through Nehemiah and Esther, and tucked away in both of those biblical accounts, I read something that made me think of you as colleagues, as pastors here in the Hawaii conference. The first one comes from Nehemiah. Of course, you know the story well. Well, look, as spiritual leaders, we love Nehemiah because if you want to look at a leadership paradigm from the Old Testament, Nehemiah has got to be right up there at the top. So, as we know, Nehemiah was the chosen leader by God, not just to rebuild the physical walls in Jerusalem, but there was a spiritual rebuilding that was going on, that his leadership, his ministry had a huge impact. Revival, reformation, spiritual renewal, that was definitely Nehemiah. But the part that I'm referring to is, of course, you're familiar with the story, Sanballat and Tobiah, a couple of characters that they did everything in their ability to distract, to destroy, to try to halt the rebuilding of the walls because it was a threat to them, obviously. And so they came up with this scheme, this idea that they would somehow try to pull Nehemiah off the site, distract him, discourage him. So they sent out a message to Nehemiah, but it's Nehemiah's response that I think is a classic for us as leaders. And so when I read this, in my quiet time, I thought of you as the pastors. So Sanballat, Tobiah send a message to Nehemiah, and here's his response. He said, I cannot come down, for I am doing a great work. I cannot come down, for I'm doing a great work. And I think from that little vignette, what I think impressed my heart that I wanted to share with you is that, hey, look, guys, you are doing a great work. And yeah, there's going to be, the devil's going to make sure that he's going to be sending the Tobiahs and the Sanballats in whatever way, shape, or form he chooses to do it. But there's going to be distractions. There's going to be moments of discouragement. But when you find yourselves in the midst of that, just remind yourself that you are doing a great work and you cannot come down. You're not going to be distracted. So that's the first little video. The second one is I came to Esther. And of course, one of the unique things about Esther is that in Esther, there's no mention of God anywhere. And yet, as you read Esther, you can see the providence of God just shines. It shines through. So I don't need to retell to you the story because you know the story every bit as good as me. But it's that what I want to draw your attention to is that one little section, that one little cameo. Mordecai hears that the word has gone out from the king, that the date has been set. The Jews are going to be history. And by this time, Esther she is officially the queen living in the palace. And as soon as Mordecai hears what's going on, he sends a message to Esther. And in essence, he is saying, Esther, think about this. Has God not called you for such a time as this? So you can understand that God's people, they are in the midst of a massive crisis. And Esther is reminded, hey, Esther, God has placed you right where he needs you for such a time as this. And as I was just brooding over that and meditating over it, the reason why I thought of you as the pastors, and I think all of us as leaders here in Hawaii, is that we are in the midst of a crisis ourselves. And yet God in his divine providence, just as he did with Esther, he has done with you. That far in advance he knew this was coming. Far in advance he knew what he was going to need here in Hawaii. And far in advance he had already planned and prepared to place you right where you are for such a time as this. So I just want to remind you that, first of all, you're doing a great work, just like Nehemiah. And just like Esther, God has called you for such a time as this. And so your leadership, your ministry, your reaching out, your staying engaged, all of this is having an impact here in Hawaii and in your churches. And so I just want to, this is just a simple little attempt on my part, just to remind you, you're doing a great work. God has called you for such a time as this, and that I am here to just provide whatever kind of support that I can for you, and of course for your ohana. And so look, I know I've told you this before, but I want to make sure that you know it again here today, that I love you. I'm just so proud of you. I'm grateful. I'm honored and humbled that we can be a part of the same team here in Hawaii. And just another assurance that we're going to journey. Hey, look, you and I both realize no storm lasts forever. No storm lasts forever. This crisis is not going to last forever. But in the midst of it, as we journey through, let me just remind you that we're going to journey together, and we're going to journey with Jesus. Love you guys. Have an awesome day.